Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine. I'm here, right? So that's awesome.
So, when was the last time that you went fishing?
Well, I usually go to Alaska. I used to own a fishing lodge in Alaska for a number of years, and so I keep going back every summer. But since we've launched this business, I haven't gone back for 2 years, and hopefully I can sneak up there this summer. So, yeah.
Oh, I hope you will too. Thank you so much for waking up a little earlier than normal today in order to join us this morning and to spread a bigger message with the mission that you have with X Endurance. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Sandy Kellen is the founder of X Endurance. It's an incredible company. Um, Now, before we talk about X Endurance, I want to dive a little deeper with regards to your story because I believe that nothing in life happens by accident. There is a reason why you had founded that company initially. So, from what I know of you, is that you've been an athlete your entire life, correct?
Correct.
And now, what sport did you compete in?
Uh, in high school was football and track, and college was doing college was football, and then I raced boats for Mercury Outboard for a while, and then I started driving bobsleds. So I've been doing it and competing internationally until probably the age of 40, 41. Yeah,
Oh, wow, you competed until that late?
yeah, yeah.
I had no idea. So basically, from your sport of choice alone, it's clear to say that you are an extreme kind of guy.
Well, I'm really competitive for sure, and if you're gonna do anything, you want to do it well, and so that's kind of been my mantra my whole life. Yes.
That's powerful. If you do anything, you want to do it well. So now, okay, being an athlete your whole life, supplements had to play some part of it. Well, nowadays we know that when it comes to supplements, there's so much noise. There is like an overabundance of supplements. I believe that, a few decades ago, it wasn't as popular as it is today. But, if you can tell us your story with regards to your own journey with regards to supplements from back in the day when you were an athlete.
Wow. So I'll go way back. So in college or in high school, um, my sophomore year, I was able to start both offense and defense, but I was a skinny kid. I was like 5'11", 150 pounds, and asthmatic, and was so it was some challenges. So anyway, I started lifting weights at 16, and at 16, you couldn't find a protein anywhere, anywhere. So I ate a lot of eggs and that type of thing, and then finally there was a protein called protein from the sea that was the grossest thing in the world, and I'd mix it with orange juice and hold my nose and drink it. And boys, it evolved from that. I mean, it's just pretty amazing. So owning fitness centers, I had, 3 fitness centers for a while. And it was back in, like you said, probably 3 decades ago when people thought, you just get your nutrition from food. You get everything you need. And my sister-in-law was getting her master's in nutrition, and that's what was being taught in the universities and all the schools and books. And and then I was introduced to supplementation actually through a company called the Cambridge Diet, which developed a low calorie diet that had all the basic nutrients in it. And I used that as a supplement when I was competing and training because it was with some additional nutrients that you didn't normally get. And every time I'd go to Europe, my friends started asking me to bring over protein and any good vitamins or minerals. And so I'd be doing that. And so in 1998, I built a company in Europe called Euro Nutrition. And
You
I had Euro Nutrition. And I had learned an awful lot from a company called Pharmanex, and Joe Chang, who's a PhD, owner of Pharmanex, was building really high quality products. And so I started watching what they were doing and reading what they were doing, and got interested into antioxidant research. And so I started studying Lester Packer, Dr. Packer, kind of the father of nutrition for antioxidants. And then also another gentleman, Dr. Ken Cooper, who is kind of the father of aerobic exercise. And they both were really high on antioxidants and how it can reduce or slow down aging, if you will. And at this time, I was in my early 40s and wanted to, live a longer, healthier life. And as I mentioned to you, I competed late in life and wanted to continue doing that. And so my first products I built were in Europe. They were pharmaceutical grade nutrition products for quote unquote the medical community, because the people that we sold mostly to were doctors. And so I built a product called Vital 40 Power, which Immune Boost now is the 6th generation of that. And then Joint 4 was another product that I built because I did have joint pain. And then we built products to reduce inflammation because that's was a silent killer, still is. And so we built probably about 8 or 9 different products that I sold to the medical community. And as I was doing that and going to conventions, they call them congresses over in Europe, I got approached by a doctor, Michaela Dole, female doctor, PhD in nutrition, head of the department in a major university. And she couldn't believe the products that we were building because she didn't realize some of the nutrients. And I thought Europe was way ahead of us, but in fact they weren't. And so she ended up writing books about our products, and we flourished. We did real well with that.
So just to make sure that I'm getting this straight, so the 8 different supplements that you created that were basically built for the medical community were when you had the company Euro Nutrition, correct?
Yes, correct. Euro Nutrition.
Okay, got it. And what's interesting is that you have an athletic background, but when you started your first company, the products that you built weren't specifically for performance, though of course, when you enhance longevity as a default, you enhance performance, but it wasn't so much performance based for you, it was more longevity based, because it seems as if for you, your journey with supplementation has been, fully aligned with the way that your life has evolved, right?
Right. Well, I built the products for me, so let's be honest.
Yeah.
Because I wanted the best nutrition I could find for me, because I don't know, when you start having joint pain, like in your knees and shoulders, and you just start feeling older, and I didn't like that feeling. And so I've continued building stuff that I thought were good. And we constantly, like I told you, Immune Boost has been an amazing product. And I keep trying to make that better. And this last round we put out is far better than we've ever built before. Yeah, it's pretty special.
I want to talk about it in just a little bit. But I think this is a perfect segue to talk about what inspired you to start X Endurance. So in 1998, you started Euro Nutrition. So now how did X Endurance fall into this?
Well, Euro Nutrition, since we were doing research into inflammation, we wanted to see if a way we could lower body acid. And so we had a product that was strictly designed to help lower body acid. Mm-hmm. And it was from that I thought, gosh, I'm dealing with people who don't really have good quality health in the medical community, because a lot of our stuff, that was like Vital 40 Power Immune Boost was designed to help people who are coming out of surgery or have been sick for a while. And and it was, so we started developing this product, which eventually turned into Extreme Endurance. And it was interesting because our first study in Europe was done in 2007. So we started developing the product in 2006. And the first study was done with 22 elite athletes and 8 more pro athletes, 6 of them pro triathlons. pro cyclist, pro mountain biker, and then the rest were what I would call Division I athletes, so club soccer, club volleyball athletes. But the study was pretty profound, and so that's when I thought, okay, we got this great product, and the study was so good that we thought we'd hit it out of the park. The problem is that the athletes who use the product would never talk about it. I mean,
They never talked about it.
No, they didn't want anybody they were taking it. And so, I mean, I literally, we brought the product to US January 2008. We started doing trade shows. And the first trade show was the NC2A Coaches Rowing Association in Miami. And because we knew we could improve the rowers for sure because of all the lactic acid they build up. And then the next show was done the first week in May in Nashville, and it was the National Athletic Trainers Association. And that's where I met Rick Stassi. And Rick Stassi was a strength coach, conditioning coach, and he had an Olympic athlete, Jason Lezak, who was gonna try for his third Olympics in 3 weeks, the end of May. And so Jason went on the product, and he later went on to do what is known as the Miracle of the Summer Games in Beijing by anchoring the leg on the 4x100 meter relay with Phelps, and he swam a 46:06, fastest leg ever swam in 100 meters in swimming. And he didn't. And I met him probably 10 days later when he flew home from Beijing. He flew in on a Sunday, and I met him Monday morning with Rick, and we talked about his performance, and I said, I'd really like to sponsor you so you can, tell people your story about this product. And he goes, I'm not going to tell anybody. He goes, this is I don't want to do that. And so we didn't sponsor him, and he got speaking engagements all over the United States. I mean, he was on Oprah's and all this stuff. So they'd always show that clip of him, swimming that. And, it was because he was a great athlete. He was, 32 years old, was able to pull it off. And it wasn't until he was inducted to the Hall of Fame last year that he told publicly that the reason he was able to do what he did is because he buffered lactic acid. So, yeah. So so I have a background in network marketing, total of 34 years, something like that. And I told my wife, I said, the only way this product's ever going to grow is that it needs to be direct selling. People need to tell the story, and how this works. And so I constantly, wanted to go that direction, but none of my colleagues wanted to do that. They go, no, man, we can't ever do that. And so then I got, I guess, recruited, if you will, to go talk to a MLM company because they weren't looking about acquiring unique products. And
was that back in 2008?
No, that happened. That probably happened about 3 years ago. And the company that was recruiting me was the same company I'd worked for 28 years. And so I felt really at home, and I thought, this might be a good match for us. They're the company who bought Pharmanex, which is those really good nutritional products did. And so I thought, they can buy this company and it'll be a sports division because sports nutrition is the fastest growing segment in nutrition today and consumable health products. And I thought, this is going to be huge. And I came out of that meeting, and the fellow that I was with was their top distributor and named Nathan Rex. And Nathan said, Sandy, why don't you do this yourself? I go, oh man, do you realize how much work that is? And he goes, no, it's going to be brutal. And I said, yeah, I know. And so I went back home and kind of, shared that story with my wife, and she's all for it because she knew what could be done with that. And so I kind of convinced a few of my people, and I mean, it was like pulling teeth. And Thor, who's our CFO, he was the most adamant one of them all, you know, and I mean, he just wanted, you know, he thought this was crazy. But anyway, long story short, over several months, and bringing in top leaders in the industry, and I had companies wanting to acquire us that were in that industry, um, and so they finally agreed to start learning more about it. And over the course of several months, we kind of got everybody on board, and we launched it a year ago last January. So yeah.
Awesome. So I just want to backtrack real quick to make sure that I'm, you know, putting all the pieces together correctly. So in 1998, you started Euronutrition as discussed, and you created 8 supplements for the medical community. But then you saw the need to lower body the buildup of lactic acid as well.
Yeah.
So
yes.
you created a product called Extreme Endurance. And
Right.
Extreme Endurance, I want to make sure that I'm getting this one correctly. Was that basically what inspired you to create X Endurance?
That literally was that was one and the same. And the results, I mean, the results were staggering. Jürgen Sessner, who did the first clinical study, by the way, the European study was unique. It was what we call a third-party study.
What's that?
Here in the U.S., I could contract with a university's exercise physiology department or human performance department and do a study with them and work with them on the protocol, and you know, the results are the results. In Europe, in order to get something published, it had to be a third party. So I couldn't go out and look for researchers. I had a company called NutriChem that I'd worked with in Roth, Germany, and Dr. Schonau. I reached out to him. He goes, Sandy, we have a research facility we've used, you know, over several years. And he connected me with him. And then I called Schonau maybe after the study was begun, because it was double-blind crossover placebo study, but people would be first all tested, all 22 athletes tested, and then they'd go over and they pick up what was either a brown bottle or a white bottle, and they'd be on it for 10 days. At the end of 10 days, there was a washout. They continued training, whatever they're doing, and then they came back, and if they had gotten a brown bottle first, and then get a white bottle. And that would be the way it works. No one knew what it was. You know, the only person who knew what was the active ingredient was me. Not even Dr. Shona didn't know. And so about halfway through the study, I called Dr. Shona. I said, listen, I'm coming over to Germany, going to go to, Netherlands, Venlo, and I'd like to come over and maybe get some footage of the testing that's going on. Would that be possible? And he goes, well, let me check with the researcher. So he checked with the researcher, and the researcher said, fine. And he gave me a phone number, and I called this researcher. His name is Jürgen Sessner. And Jürgen Sessner had been a strength and conditioning coach in the Bundesliga for 10 years, and which is like a strength and conditioning coach in the NFL, Division One. It's a big Europe. I mean, soccer's huge. And Jürgen was more of a science guy, I guess you'd say. And he built his own training center, and adjacent training center was his company called Corpus Diagnostics, which did research. And when he was training athletes, he could see how their training was going. Done about 6,000 or 7,000 stress tests. And he had a huge backlog or information from athletes he trained. And so anyway, he did the study, and later I found out that 6 of the people in the study were people he was coaching and training, and had done numerous stress on them. So when I called him, said I'm coming over, he goes, great, Sandy, we're doing the cross starting on the second side. And he goes, I already know what the active ingredient is, a bottle. I said, well, that's impossible. No one knows. And he goes, no, I know. I said, no, that's impossible. I'm the only one I know. And he goes, no, I know. And I said, how do you know? He says, well, I've got 8 pros in there. 6 of them are pro triathletes. And it just happened that 4 of those pro triathletes, it was 4, I saw numbers on those people that were off the chart, were unbelievable. And he said, Sandy, some of them I've done stress tests on over a dozen times, and these numbers are totally off the chart. He goes, so I know. And I said, no, he goes, Sandy, I know. And I said, oh, okay, maybe you think you do. So I went over there and met with him, and he showed me, those 4 people, and it was pretty obvious that it was pretty special. Yeah. And he was so impressed with what his study. He said, Sandy, I've got, I think he said 6 or 7 bottles still left. Can I do a full bunch study on them? And I said, well, this one cost me a lot of money. I don't know if I'll do it. He goes, no, I'm going to do it myself. He says, I want to see if I can increase VO2 max. And so he did. And at the end of the month, he was able to increase VO2 max over 1%, which in a month's training is unheard of. And then we kept 2 or 3 of the athletes on for, I think, 8 or 9 months, and all of them improved their VO2 max over 10%, which is still unheard of. Yeah. Amazing.
That's amazing. I personally take the extreme endurance product as well. And I remember the first time that I took it, Erin made me take it because my thing is, I'm not a professional athlete. Like, why do I need to take it? However, the other pro to extreme endurance is that it kills free radicals.
Yeah.
Basically what kills your cells.
Yep.
So for anybody who wants to live longer, the extreme endurance is an amazing product. But from a performance standpoint, it was mind-blowing. I'll never forget that day. I didn't do a test to retest like you should, because I was anti. I'm like, whatever. But, we had a training day and we had a high rep chest to bar pull-ups. And it's like, when you've been training for a while, like, what your threshold is. So like, you break up your sets in a way that you can maintain. And, I was going to do sets of 7. And Erin was like, I'm going to record you, because in the back of her head, she knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And she's like, just practice. So the first set called for 20 pull-ups. I ended up going 20 reps unbroken.
Wow.
And Erin was like, did you just go unbroken? And I said, yeah. And I'm like, gotta go for a run. I'll see you later. And then I was like, it's gotta be the extreme endurance. That's different. So I wanna take a deeper dive into, the actual products in just a second. But I hope that whoever is jumping in, now you understand like how X Endurance was created. Like this company is literally Sandy's life. He started creating supplements because he wanted to boost his longevity, and he saw a gap. And like he said before, if you do something, you better do it well. So obviously he created a top-notch product called the Extreme Endurance, taken by Olympians. Most of them still up to today don't want to discuss it. Danny even asked, has it been frustrating to have people take your product and excel but refuse to tell anyone else? I can only imagine how it is. But I'm sure these athletes don't want to shine on what is it specifically that they're doing as far as strategy goes. But for you, you're doing it for a bigger reason. Now, I know how incredible X Endurance is, and obviously Erin does too. She even, worked with you back in the day. But, for any of the people who are listening in the room right now who are not very familiar with X Endurance, let's just talk about real quick, what makes this company different from other supplement companies?
Research. You'll read about other products, and other products make claims. They'll say, well, this product does this and this and this. And it's basically because they read, or they put an ingredient in there that had some scientific background and knowledge. And every time I start diving into that, they might have an ingredient that has shown to be somewhat successful. Matter of fact, I'll use one, rhodiola rosea. One of the first ingredients that I used in extreme endurance was rhodiola rosea. And because the research was pretty decent, for example, I'm thinking, let's just say there's 20 papers written about rhodiola rosea, and maybe 60% of them are positive, and the other are, there's no improvement. But it was, it was still a product that was out there that had some science behind it. And it was interesting because when we started testing the product for banned substance, every time we'd try something with rhodiola rosea would be rejected because it was, maybe it came from China or wherever it came from, I don't know. We did get rhodiola rosea out of Norway for a while. But anyway, I limited that product, and I just wanted to make sure that any product that I built, that I had science behind the dosage that supported the research. And so we've always done that, and we've never built cheap products because these products were products that I was taking and used, and so I wanted the best of the best of the best, and so we had I had a belief that you wanted the most bioavailable nutrients that you can find. It's not what you and I eat; it's what our body absorbs, and so we did that, and yeah. So it's the science that's really makes us different.
Yeah, and from my experience, having chatted with you a couple of times, before you release any products out to the market, there is studies to back it up correctly.
Correctly, that's correct. Yeah.
And this is a big deal when it comes to supplements, because something that I hear around from people, because we coach people with nutrition as well. And whenever I recommend a product, I make sure that it's X Endurance, because I know it's the integrity that matters.
Mm-hmm.
It's foolproof. And, I'm just going to give you an example. When I ask somebody, oh, what are you taking any fish oil currently? Yeah, I take a cheap fish oil from blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay. So when it comes to supplements, there are certain things that you want to look for. And like you said, when it comes to value, like, you can't just base your supplement intake because it's cheap. If that is your reasoning, then this is something that everybody in the room should really pay close attention to right now. You're not going to get anything from it. You're actually just wasting your money. You might as well take that, bottle of fish oil or whatever supplement it is and throw it down the toilet, because this is literally what you're doing with your money. When it comes to supplements are meant to supplement a good nutrition, because you're getting ingredients that are more bioavailable for you and can be better absorbed than just through nutrition, and also at concentrations that your body needs. And, it's really important to make sure that if you're taking the right supplement, you are actually, you're taking the proper dosage, you're taking you're taking it consistently, because otherwise you're just getting no benefit from it. And, like you said, the supplement industry is one of those industries right now that's booming, and there is so many supplements out there. And I think, for the masses, their biggest thing is, I buy XYZ because it's cheap. And you guys should, when it comes to supplements, you should never get a supplement because it's cheaper. You should get it because of what it adds to your life. So this is a really good segue into my next question, because I want to start talking a little bit more about, some of the products that you guys make and who is it for, so that whoever is in the room can make a fair assessment for themselves with regards to what is it that their body needs based off of their goals. The reality is that everybody could benefit from supplements, but like we said before, not all supplements are created equal. If you're not taking a top-notch supplement, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy, you're wasting your money. Why do it? Now, considering the timing of this interview and whatever is going on in the world, I definitely want to take a deeper dive into immunity. But I feel like since that may take a little bit longer, let's touch up on performance just a little bit. You know, for somebody who is, a consistent gym goer and just has goals with regards to performance, what X-Endurance products would you recommend to them?
Well, I think anybody walking on the face of the earth should be on, first of all, Immune Boost, because that is such an amazing product, especially after the changes, some of the adjustments we made to make it better. And I also believe that Extreme Endurance is incredibly unique, one from not only lowering lactic acid, but your body's acid. I mean, people who've never taken Extreme Endurance can take a pH stick and put it in their mouth and then go on Extreme Endurance for 3 days and then do that same test, and they're going to see that they've lowered their body's acidity. And that's huge as far as longevity and health. I mean, inflammation is called a silent killer. And so if we can keep body's inflammation down, that's a huge benefit. So that and the fact that it's a really powerful reduction of oxidative stress is amazing. I'm going to do a test with Extreme Endurance and Immune Boost later this year. And when you do those two together, I expect to see the numbers of reduction of oxidative stress to be over 50%, which would be, in the medical industry, would be remarkable. It would be amazing. So those two for sure. And I really think fish oil and vitamin D3 is essential for really good health. From that, protein has always been a big thing with people who are training, and it's really important for muscle strength and for our body in general. But protein, and I'm probably like a lot of your listeners, is pretty confusing, because you can go down to Costco and buy a bag of protein for $25 or whatever, and it's protein. They're not deceiving anybody, but the quality of that protein is pretty low. The absorbability of that is pretty low. And I before we started building our own protein, would do similar things to that. And when I started doing research, is that there's several types of proteins, and you can have a milk protein, and it's protein, but it's not all that bioavailable. And you can have whey protein, which really is good and tastes good, and it's easy to blend, but it's a protein, but the quality is okay. It's not great. And then you have whey protein isolate. Well, that's better. And so you look at that, and that's pretty good. And then you can find whey protein hydrolysate. Wow, that protein is expensive. And why is it expensive? Because it's what they call a pre-digested protein, and people who have lactose intolerant can take it because it's so pure, and you literally absorb all of it, or at least most all of it, 95%, let's say. So our protein, when we build this blend, we use 97% whey protein hydrolysate. And no one does that. You'll see people have whey protein hydrolysate in their formula, but it might only be 10 or 12 or 15%. So they can hype that they have that. It's what happens in this industry. But no one puts in the amount that we do. And so when we did that, and we mixed it with 3 other proteins. So we had immediate release, we had protein be released in the blood over a longer period of time. And so we wanted to make sure that we had good release of nutrients throughout the day. And then we added lactate, which is not lactose. Lactate is your body's preferred fuel. And we're the only company on the face of the planet that does that, puts it in its powdered products. And then we have your energy vitamins in there too. So that that product is so unique and so good, but you can't sell it for $20. I mean, it costs way more than that to make the damn thing. So, and that's what people understand. In nutrition, you're going to get what you pay for. If you want something inexpensive, it's going to end up in the toilet bowl. And I'll give you another example. This is probably pretty stupid, but probably, oh man, I'm going to say 15, 20 years ago when I started building Immune Boost, I went into and bought the number one selling vitamin in the world, or Centrum, and went down and had x-rays taken every 20 minutes. And after an hour and a half, that compressed rock was in my in my small intestines, still as a rock. And later, when I was talking to some friends up in Utah, we were talking about this, who are in the nutrition industry. He said, the septic or sewer department or whatever, sanitation department, whatever you call it, that filters all the sewer, and then they can use the byproduct water to irrigate golf courses. He goes, they pull out a 55-gallon drum of tablets every day that goes through the sewer system every day. So you have compressed medicines, compressed vitamins, and it just ends up not only going through you in the toilet bowl, but through the sewer system, and it still is amazing. And I have a photograph someplace in my office of that x-ray, and you can see that little vitamin rock an hour and a half in my body. So everything we build is in a cell cap, except extreme endurance is engineered not to release in the stomach at all, but to release in the intestine, and that's another reason why it's so successful.
So just to show you guys, based off of Sandy's stories, like how much actually goes into building a shitty supplement and how much goes into building a high quality supplement. I mean, wow, I remember back in the day when I used to take Centrum as well, right? But it's like hearing this, you really realize that supplements isn't about what the label says. There is so much that goes into it, and in order for it to make the biggest impact, the impact begins at the production line, right? Can you guys hear me? Uh-oh. Can you guys hear me or see me? I feel like Sandy just left the room. Or maybe, yeah, I think what's up, you guys? I think something happens with Sandy's connection.
Who else here? I just tagged a buttload of people.
Danny, Ashley, Jeanette, Joe, Scotty.
They can all hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Hello. How's it going, you guys? You can unmute yourself.
Good.
Isn't he awesome?
Yes.
He's so great. I'm sure he's gonna figure it out and hop back in the room. We're just getting into the really good part.
He's pretty Zoom.
I was gonna say this has been good.
Yeah, very good. Very informative.
Yep. There's a reason why we support this guy and this brand, because there is really nothing like it.
Right here.
And we will be disservicing you guys otherwise if we were to recommend you to any other brand, honestly. What's everybody up to today?
I'm finishing my workout right now.
Hell yeah, dude. Get it done.
Yeah. I'm at work.
Right. It's like, what, 9 a.m. by you? Hi, young man.
I'm back.
Okay, everybody back to muting yourselves.
I have to write 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hold on. Let me make sure everybody's muted. Okay, we good. So we were talking about, you know, basically the value of a supplement doesn't begin in the ingredient list. It begins in the production line, right? And X Endurance is superior when it comes to that. Just a quick recap to supplements regarding performance. Immune Boost, Extreme Endurance Fish Oil, as you like to call the high octane, and the protein. And we talked about why the protein is different. Now, considering everything that's going on in the world right now with the coronavirus, let's talk about the supplements that you recommend for boosting your immunity, and why are these products different than any other products or supplements that, you know, everybody else is probably getting bombarded with on a regular basis?
So let me just, can you see this picture of this lady standing beside all this fruit? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can eat all that fruit. This is something I used over in Europe. You can eat all of that fruit and cheese and everything in there, or you can take Immune Boost. I mean, it's just that simple. For example, and I'm just going to read from here, but you can, in Immune Boost, you can take 21 slices of bread for your magnesium. You can take 4 cups of walnuts for your zinc. You can take 27 cups of green peas for your selenium. And you can 7 oranges for your vitamin C, 8 cups of romaine lettuce for folic acid. You can have 9 chicken breasts for your vitamin B6. I mean, I can go through all of that, right?
Yeah.
So this is literally a nutrition store in a pouch. If you and I went to, let's say, a GNC, that's fine. And I have my Immune Boost here and all the ingredients and the quality of the ingredients. And we go through and I say, you know, we need some chelated minerals from Albion Labs. We need, you know, can you get that zinc for me? And then let's get the calcium. We'll go ahead, let's get magnesium. Let's all of those amino acids and branched chain amino acids on that product. And you need to buy those and buy them. And we need to get this and this and this and this and this and this. You'd walk out with a basket full of products, and it'd probably cost you $150. Okay. And the bioavailability of some of those could be in compressed tablets that we talked, that, you know, they're garbage. Literally, this is the best product on the face of the planet. Then I added alma fruit to the new one, curcumin, broccoli sprouts. And the reason those are important is that these are activators for NRF2, which is your body's ability to fight oxidative stress. Each one of our cells has NFR2 in it. It's a zipper gene. And so these activators activate what our body does to help fight free radical damage. But then we pour in, I call it a cocktail of antioxidants to help support that even more so. Not only do you get all your vitamins and minerals at research dosage, and some of the dosages are 1,000 times more, 500 times the USRDA's, because it's not 100%, because a lot of those nutrients, the research dosage for optimum health is much greater than that. And so that's what we build. And then the unique thing that we've done that is, well, I guess that's kind of a trade secret or whatever, but we use a black pepper that's got lots of research behind it. It's called bipoperine, and it's kind of a thermogenic. So when it goes in with the nutrients, it increases the blood flow in the small intestine. So this is a picture of your small intestine, but it increases the blood flow to all these villi going through here so that you can grab nutrients from outside here and be more readily absorbed. For example, let's see if I have some research here, but I mean, it's several times. In one case, for example, I can increase vitamin C by 39%, that's research. B6 by 250%, selenium by 30%, beta carotene by 60%. So not only do we build great products, but I have this supercharger in there to increase absorption. So
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's mind blowing.
it's a great product. So I tell people, especially during this time, and I mean, I got to tell you, it's crazy because the swine flu, which was 10 years ago, there was 1,000 people had died in the United States before they called it a pandemic. You know, they didn't close schools, they didn't do anything, and 18,000 people died. You know, over that course of that year from swine flu. And this is another form of flu. It's more contagious. But again, you know, if you don't have a strong immune system, you're at risk. And those folks who have passed away and have died, especially we know in Italy that 99% of 99.5%, 80 years old or old and had didn't have a very strong immune system. And so we need to take care of ourselves. I mean, there's nothing more important than your life and your health and your well-being. So to me, it's life insurance. I mean, you just have to be immune boost. You have to be on extreme endurance. You got to be on fish oil. I mean, you just have to.
Oh, I love it. I love what you just said. You're like, to me, this is life insurance. And I 100% in full alignment agree with you. By the way, you guys know this by now that, you know, if we don't believe in something, we never recommend it. If we don't practice it on a daily basis, we won't preach about it. All of these products, like the Immune Boost, Extreme Endurance Fish Oil, and the joint support.
Yeah.
These are so we take on a regular basis because they are absolute game changers. So now, Danny said a comment, which is a great segue. I want everybody to type in the box from what you've heard Sandy say by now. Wouldn't you want to support this guy? Comment yes or no. He's not going to take it personally. He really doesn't care. But here's
he'll feel bad for you if you say
he'll feel bad for you, Erin says. So I want to see some comments. Jeanette said yes. Danny said of course. Lauren, heck yes. Ashley, yes. So here is the thing. After hearing about the integrity of this guy and the story of the products, right? It's evident that this is literally like what the world needs. But here's the thing. Sandy wants to help you. And the timing of this call couldn't have been any perfect because so many people right now are losing their jobs. I mean, the economy is crashing, right? Like we're all being affected in some way, shape, or form, which is a great financial lesson that you're a great financial teacher as well. But, you know, a year ago, Sandy has created, you know, another mission with his company that can help to change so many lives in more ways than just one. More than just, you know, like making you like bulletproof healthy, but also making you more financially stable. And that project is called Team XND, both of which Erin and myself are a part of, because how can you not be? Now, Sandy, let's talk just a little bit about Team XND and the opportunity that it has, especially with where it's at for the company right now and where we're going in the future. And obviously considering, you know, the timing with the coronavirus and whatnot, and, you know, needing passive income.
So kind of by accident, I got into this business called network marketing. I own fitness centers, and a guy came through the door selling a product called the Cambridge Diet, which was developed at Cambridge University in the UK. And I looked at him and I said, you know, I don't need any diet tests in this place. Look at you. You see anybody that's overweight in here? And he goes, no, I don't. And he says, but Sandy, everybody wants to lose 5 or 10 pounds. And I said, what? And he goes, yeah. And he says, I'll work here free for 10 days and I'll give you all the profit. And I thought, well, I can't pass that up. So he did. And about 3 or 4 days before he's going to leave, he put up a sign. He said, Friday will be my last day. Well, he sold more of that product on Friday than he did the previous 8 or 9 days. So I went to learn more about this business, and I found out you could make some nice money. And that company exploded. It went from $0 in 22 months in today's dollars to about $1.1 billion. And I had fitness centers. And so, I was making far more money, doing this than I was in my fitness center, far more. And I had no employees. I had no rent. I had no headaches. I had no payroll. I had no unemployment insurance. I had none of that. And I was a way of life that I didn't even know. And that company, the owners weren't very ethical. They made a lot of money, Jack and Eileen Feather. They just took all their money and shut everything down, Well, it was devastating. So I went out and tried it again and was very successful again. I thought the people involved were ethical and good people, and I helped build that company. And actually, they gave me 5% of the company. I worked my tail off for 4 or 5 months building an organization. And our first month in sales, we did in today's dollars probably 50 million the first month. And I was back in Europe training. When I came back home, they closed the business down because they couldn't keep up with the growth. So what I did find with the second company third company was New Skin. I was with them for 28 years. And it was a really good experience for a number of points. But what I found was not only was this a business that you could do on the side, and I had 3 other companies. I had a land development company, I had a fishing lodge in Alaska, and so I started a third business. And I could only work at 2 or 3 hours a day. And it was mostly done in the evening and on the weekends. And that business built up, and we went into Japan, and Japan was very successful for me. And not only was I able to have a financial lifestyle that is remarkable and incredible, but what I found was that I was able to help other people do the same. And the greatest thing about this business is not only you having time freedom, you have the time to enjoy the income you make and can spend more time with your family, but you're able to help other people do the same. And for me, that was amazing. And so this company is going to be a force for good. We want to have the ability to give, if someone wants to make $100 or $200 a month extra, if that makes a big deal for them, then that's great. If they want to make $1,000 or $1,500 a month extra, so maybe the mom can stay at home and not pay for childcare and stay at home, maybe a home mom with her kids, that's great. And for those people who really want to plug in and work, and make a commitment to work real hard for 2 or 3 years or 4 years, where they can take 30 years of their adulthood instead of working 30 years for a company and having a 401k and maybe retire with a little money, they can compress that down to 3 and 4 years and have a lifestyle change that they can enjoy the rest of their life. And this business allows us to do that. And so this company is going to be a force for good. Not only are we going to help educate people about nutrition and health and taking care of themselves and we have this thing coming out, In Motion, which is an exciting thing we're going to introduce here in the next couple, 3 weeks, where everybody can just get involved. If you want to walk, you walk, but walk every day. If you want to go to the gym 3 or 4 times, but just do something to take care of yourself and exercise and teach people about nutrition and wellness like we're doing now. And if we're able to do that, and that's just 70% of the people, that's fine, because we've helped them live a better quality of life. And maybe there's 30% of those folks out there who want to, have extra income for whatever reason. So we're going to give them that opportunity. And since sports nutrition is the fastest growing segment in consumer health, and it's not because you and I are athletes, it's because those people, and those of you I'm talking to, Lauren and Joe and Danielle and all of you, is that this is not just for you, the millennials, if you will. This is for your mom and dad, and this is for your grand. Okay, it's for those The reason this business is growing is for those people who are 50 and older, who want to have a healthier, longer life. They want to age with grace, health, and wellness. And so that is why sports nutrition is growing, is because of that. It's for the population of the U.S. It's half of the population of the world. They want quality products, and they're going to buy products that the best athletes in the world use, and that's what we are. So, yeah.
Yep. I just want to give my 2 cents about this, because from my own personal experience, you know, for Erin and myself, we're here to make an impact. Obviously, we wouldn't be having a show and waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning every single day if we didn't care. That's not something that's easy. That's because we're committed to leave something better. And, you know, everything that, you know, we are the kind of people who practice what we preach. So when we believe in something, we talk about it. Now, for all of you guys, you know, what I'm about to tell you, this is an honest truth, because this is an opportunity. For a lot of people, when we talk about it, I don't know why people have a hard time talking about money. It's the most frustrating thing. Money is a vessel that we all need in life. I mean, right now, the scary thing about the coronavirus is not so much the impact that it has on people's health, though that is affected, but about what it's doing to the economy and what it's doing to our finances. Now, imagine if financially, whether you were impacted by this or not, you could just be bulletproof. Sandy's giving away an opportunity. Now, you know, a lot of people are like, but I don't know how to sell. Here's the thing about sales, and I'm telling you this from my own personal experience, right? When you're a business owner, you're a salesperson, whether you like it or not, because otherwise you're not going to have an open business. Now, when you have a good product that you believe in, it's easy to sell. All you got to do is tell the story, right? So now, you know, Sandy shared his story about extreme endurance and how it helped Lizak. And, you know, he's also shared all these incredible stories about the immune boost and other products. Now, you guys have already bought into it. Some of you guys are already taking these products. Now, what if we told you that just by sharing the story of what these products are doing to you, you could actually make money from it? So I find it to be an incredible opportunity. And I think that really it is our obligation to take care of ourselves financially and not be dependent on one source of income, because here's the thing, this is a perfect example. People who've had jobs for decades are now losing their jobs. Like, we can't just rely on one source of income and believe that we're going to be okay. We also can't rely on the government, because it's working way too slowly, especially at times like this. Like, right? Like, the people who need the most money right now are not going to get it because the government has way bigger fish to fry, like finding a vaccination. So, you know, I hope that with the timing of this, like, you guys are feeling inspired to also take care of your finances, just by now that you're being aware that there is a greater opportunity for you to just get paid for sharing your story by joining Team X and D. If you want to learn more about how you can do that, and it's super easy, by the way, all you're going to have to do is just reach out to Erin or myself. We'll be happy to guide you through it. Okay.
If you are on our email list, I'm literally drafting an email right now to help you.
Yeah, Erin just said if you're on our email list, she's drafting an email to help you do that as well. You know, in order for you to be successful and to make money from this, all you're going to need to do is just believe in the product. Now, if you listen to us talk for the past 61 minutes, then you're already bought. And if you don't take this opportunity, then you're wasting thousands of dollars that you could have made, to be honest. Sandy, do you agree or not agree?
You know, I'm sitting listening to you talk. This industry is the only industry that I know where people with little or no income can go out and really change their lives and have the time freedom that unless you're a rock star and getting paid for your songs that you're singing, or you're an incredibly professional and wonderful author who sells millions of books, yeah, you know, this is an opportunity that's amazing. And I mean, I'm blown away by what I've seen this industry do, and with the quality of products that we have, and the marketing plan that we put together is incredible. And just to add to what you were saying, we're going to introduce over the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's called In Motion. We have our own app, and it's going to make it so much easier for those folks listening today to do this, to share it with their friends, because it's going to be pretty fun, and there's going to be easier ways and quicker ways to make income. So, and we're also going to give away $1,000 a week for those people who take part in this. So I'm just giving away.
Crazy, dude.
So just pay attention, and you're going to learn more about it. But it's a perfect time to be in this industry, because when things are bad like this and recession comes in, I mean, even your Uber drivers and your Lyft drivers, I mean, they're sitting on the sidewalks now because no one's going anywhere. But this is something you and I can do from our home, like we're doing right now, and share it on our Instagram and build a business. I mean, you gotta have to be either brain dead or not have a pulse to not do this.
Right.
I know.
Lauren, I'm gonna call you out. I know you messaged me privately, but I think you'd be like perfect for it. And I'm really excited to hear that you want to join Team XMD. So Erin and myself will reach out later to you today. For those of you guys who haven't responded, you know that I keep it real, and I'm calling you out because, like Sandy said, you'll be stupid to not want to do this. It's like Sandy saying, here, I'm giving you money, and you're like, no, thank you, I would rather not. Like, what the heck? This is like absolutely bonkers. Okay, Ashley, me, awesome. This is what I'm talking about. I want the rest of you guys to say me. If not, you're basically telling me, I don't want to be a successful person. And you know what? I'm going to keep on calling you out, because if you're a part of this group, I know that you want to be successful. So I'm going to ask you, what is your fear right now? Like, how can you not trust Sandy? How can you not trust what I'm saying? Sandy, you're like, whoa, she's like a whole other level. Because
no, I just know what this does to change people's lives, and I mean, literally, it's you've got to be brain dead or not have a pulse. It's just, and you can jump in at any level. Maybe it's just a product user. That's fine. And maybe, you just have a handful of friends you want to share with. That's fine. But whatever level you want to get in, because with this economy doing what it might do, if we go into recession, I got to tell you something, people are going to be looking for a way to make money. And you can literally get in with this with a credit card. You sign up for $95 and you buy some product and you're in. And at the end of the month, you've made enough money to pay off what you purchased. So yeah, I mean, you got to do it, guys. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You got to do it.
Yeah, I agree. It's ridiculous. By the end of the day, here's something that we always say is that, people like you, people like ourselves, we're here to create a change. But the reality is that the only person who can change, who can make the change is yourself. You have to be willing to change. And if you have a certain fear that we are going to chop your hand, or you're gonna have to like sacrifice whatever, then that's on you. You haven't even asked any questions. All I know is that I'm a part of it because I believe in it 100%. And guys, full disclosure, Erin and myself are right now, we started this only a year ago, and we're making $800 every single month. Every single month. Wouldn't you guys want your supplements paid for and also make extra income? Jeanette, you go on these cruises all the time. Like, this can pay for your cruises. It's mind-blowing that only Ashley and Lauren said that they're in. I'm not gonna keep on forcing you, but I want you guys, like, you don't need to think about it. Like, this is the real deal, and you guys have an incredible opportunity. And if you don't take it, then, like, just being honest with you, like, you don't want to be successful. Like, you want to struggle, and I'm not going to feel sorry for you. Like, that's just the reality of it. Man,
Yeah.
it drives me crazy.
Yeah, we just, and again, you just need to pick a place that you're comfortable with, and maybe you just start out using the products, and that's fine. And maybe you share it a little bit. But I think when you see this in motion thing in our app that we're going to release here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're doing a beta test on it now, but it's going to be a way that is going to make the ability to make a couple, $300 or $400 a month fairly easy. So, but anyway, it's your choice, but this is an opportunity that you might kick yourself in the butt a year from now, because someone's going to come to you and say, hey man, I'm in this new business. It's called Team X&D. You ought to jump in. And they go, what? And he goes, yeah, this is a great business. You need to do it. And you're going to realize that you heard about it today, and a year later, someone's going to try and tell you about the business they're in. So, this is a ground floor opportunity, an amazing, amazing company. So I get excited talking about it because I know what's going to happen. I mean, we are going to be huge, not only here in the US, but we're going to be going to Japan and Korea. And I mean, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
Sandy, I gotta be honest. I'm really looking forward to the day where, this can go global so that I can get my family on it.
Great.
Yeah. I know that Erin's family is already on it, has been for a while. We're truly passionate about this because this changes lives on so many levels.
Yeah. And we will be opening up, but just let people know, we're going to open up the UK next year, and then we want to go to Asia. Asia's big, and so we want to start thinking about going over there too. So yeah.
Amazing. Great. Sandy, thank you so much for your time today. This has been amazing.
Great. Well, I'm glad I could visit with you, and anytime that I can help you and Erin, just let me know. And for those folks of you who are listening, if you ever need me to jump in and help you as you start building your business, I'll be more than glad to do that. So
He means that. Dude, this is the owner, founder, the man of the company. Without him, none of this would be, and he's willing to help you make money if you want to do that. So take advantage of that, for real.
Yeah. We're going to be a force for good, and it's a team effort, and I want to be part of that team. So you guys, thank you for having me this morning, and anytime I can help you guys, let me know. Okay.
Thank you so much. And for all of you guys who joined us this morning, thank you so much for taking your time. For those of you, if I was a little bit harsh on you, you just know that I'm saying it because I love and I care about you. If I didn't, I will just let it slide by. But when you're in our community, we will fight for your success in life in more than one way.
If you haven't heard yet, we're on a mission. So
we are. And so is Sandy. And let's rise together. Let's rise above this. Sandy, thank you so much for taking your time. Have yourself a beautiful weekend, and you guys do the same.
Great.
Take care.
Have a great day. Have a good weekend. Bye, everyone.
Bye.